You are going to have an amazing life. Hold on to hope. It is extremely powerful. Believe that the life that you imagine is going to be yours, and it will. Hi, it is Children of Addiction Week 2019. This is a week-long effort to raise awareness about the effects of addiction on families, especially kids. And I'm Jody Lamb. I'm an adult child of an alcoholic. I'm also an author and speaker, and I share about my experience healing and reprogramming my brain from those tough times and creating the life that I want and deserve. I'm proud to support COA Week 2019, and today I'd like to share the 5 things that children of alcoholics or children of addiction should know. The first thing to know is you are not alone. It is said that 1 in 4 kids lives with at least one adult who has addiction. That means that at least a quarter of the people you go to school with, on your block, in your neighborhood, on your sports teams, are going through something similar in their homes. A quarter of the kids that you know understand the mixed emotions that you feel, the confusion and fear and sadness and anger that comes with all of the problems that come from living with someone who has addiction. And when I was growing up, I thought that my mother's drinking problem was really unique to our family. I was really ashamed. I had no idea about addiction and that it's common. And so I thought that this was all just very much something that was happening in our family. I had no idea that any of the kids I went to school with would have any idea of what was going on or had something worse going on in their homes. So as a grown-up, I realized just how common it is, and that was really freeing. I had no reason to feel ashamed because it is completely common. And 2 is that addiction is terrible, but it has nothing to do with you. When I started learning about addiction, I was just amazed because my whole life I had tied my mother's drinking to me. But the reality is that addiction takes hold of someone's brain and it causes them to think and act in a certain way, to do or say things or not to do or say things. And it seems to take the very best people in families, the smartest and the kindest and the most giving and funniest. I don't know why that is, it's really sad, but addiction takes really great people and turns them into people who are even unrecognizable. So for most of my life, I thought that I affected my mom's drinking. I felt like I wasn't enough. I wasn't good enough of a daughter. I wasn't enough to make her heart whole to not want to drink. I wasn't enough. I didn't love her enough. She didn't love me enough to overpower her want to drink. I felt it was my fault that I could control her drinking, that I affected her drinking. When I grew up, I realized that that is not true. I had nothing and have nothing to do with my mother's drinking. And once I realized that, it felt like a zillion pounds had been lifted from my shoulders. I didn't have anything to do with my mom's drinking. And you don't have anything to do with your loved ones drinking or addiction or whatever it is. Once I understood addiction, I understood my mother in a way I never did. And eventually that enabled me to let go of the resentment and anger that I had and to forgive my mother and to forgive my codependent father who was dealing with everything that was going on in the only ways he knew how. 3 is that you can only control you. You can't control someone's drinking. You can't make them stop drinking. You can't make them stop using a substance that they're addicted to. Number 5, The absolute most important thing for children of alcoholics to know is that your only job in life is to take good care of you. That's it. Your only job is to make sure that you are healthy and safe and happy, and that you have serenity, that you feel at peace, that you are not nervous and anxious all of the time. It's not your job to take care of your parents or your brothers or sisters, your grandparents, your friends. It's not your job to take care of any of those people, just you. As the oldest child of an alcoholic in my family, I felt it was my duty to take care of everyone. And as every year passed, I stopped taking care of myself at all. And then finally one day I realized that my whole life I had been so busy taking care of everybody else, my mother, my father, my sister, all these people, that I had become quite ill myself. But then I started focusing on me and doing everything I needed to do to make sure I was getting enough sleep, eating enough, feeling safe, being safe, having serenity, doing what makes me happy. Only then did I realize that I needed to focus always on taking good care of me. Because the thing is, if you don't do that, you're really no good for anyone else. There's a reason why when you go on an airplane, the airline staff advises you to put on your oxygen mask in the event of an emergency first, before you try to help the people next to you, even if that's a little kid. And the reason is that you're not going to be of help to anyone if you pass out. The same applies to life. If you're not taking care of your basics and taking care of your health and your happiness, you're not going to be able to have any good impact on anyone else around you. Every day, remind yourself that your only job in life is to take good care of you. That makes decision making a heck of a lot easier. You can ask yourself, is doing this or not doing this good for me? And the answer to that question will help guide you in the right direction. When you focus on taking good care of yourself as your number one priority, you will be set on the right, healthy path for creating the life that you want and deserve. In order to take good care of you, sometimes you have to be brave and to ask for help so that you can do your job. Sometimes this means doing things that feel wrong in the moment, but later, afterwards, you realize those were decisions that were so important to you being safe and healthy and happy. If you have a parent or a loved one who drinks too much or uses a substance and that affects you, there are resources on my website, jodilamb.com. You are going to have an amazing life. Hold on to hope. It is extremely powerful. Believe that the life that you imagine is going to be yours, and it will.